The Business Oddcast.
And hello, it's us again with the Business Oddcast. I am the inimitable Stuart Morrison, and my fantastic, at least 60% of the talent, co-host, Hannah Logan.
Don't oversell me, Stuart. Hi, everybody.
So I was working with a friend once, and I said to him, I said, between us, I said, we've got 100 years experience. I said, but you're at least 90% of it. He was like, I think that was an insult. I've got to do. It's an insult with maths. How's
It
your week
takes a
been?
while
What
to
have you been
work
up
out.
to? What's been going on?
Yeah, what have I done this week? So I had an injection in my hip. Oh, that's something I thought I wouldn't have to say till I was about 90. Depressing. Um, Hopefully it will encourage me to be less limpy. Because that doesn't help. I stand out anyway. Now I've got a limp, age 50, special stick that everybody feels the need to say, why have you got a stick? And I'm at some point I'm going to say to hit people like you with for asking those really personal questions. Sorry, side hustle conversation.
What you
So
need
yeah.
is a staff.
Oh
Nobody's
my
ever nobody's ever asked me,
God.
why have you got a staff? Whack! Oh, ow!
Get back to the I can't remember any Gandalf sayings. That was going to be cool, and then I totally forgot all of them. Yeah, no
It's my
quotes.
stupid stick. It's attracted to stupid.
Why do people feel like I thought I had no filter sometimes, but people literally just come me over. Why have you got a stick? Mind your own business. Why have you not worked out not to ask personal questions?
Why
It's
have you
just
got a bleeding nose? But I haven't got a thwack. Oh, there
why
you
are you
go.
wearing my stick? So yeah, other than a little bit of, I didn't realize I was quite so angry about that. Clearly I
Yeah,
am, but
no.
I've just cleansed myself in the intro. Um, yeah, injection in the hip, feeling a bit bionic. Well, not quite, but hopefully. Other than that, usual work, business hustling
Nice.
stuff. So yeah,
Excellent.
can't complain.
Cool. I've had a fairly roller coaster of a week. Had a very small win on the premium bonds, but then spent 200 quid on plants in the garden. So,
Like that.
the
Rich
universe
or
is like, there you go. Thank you very much. Oh, it's gone. All right. That's how it works. It's like the genie in the bottle. I think that's the story in Aladdin. It's like you get the three wishes, but you don't really get the three wishes. You don't. Right.
brilliant.
So, Business Oddcast. We've been quite a roll recently. We've got a few topics under our belt and some things that we've wanted to share with the world, and whether the world wanted it shared with or not. Um,
You
if
will.
if you've listened to any of the previous episodes, please do tell us in the comments what your favourite bits were. Gives us ideas for more content, I guess. We've also got some plans to come and do some talks in person. So if you want either of us or both of us to come along and talk about the experiences of the neurodiverse as self-employed and in the workplace, and the challenges that that can sometimes bring with unexpected hilarity sprinkled on the top, then do get in touch. Do let us know. We'd love to come and share our journey, our stories, and the positives that can come out of this journey. Hannah, what are we talking about this week? What's the topic of the week? Because it's your turn.
It is. It's my turn. Although I believe this is a topic that you first brought up, but it's something that I've experienced in the last couple of weeks, and I think it's a really, really good topic. So we're talking about the idea of the too much entrepreneur. So the way that some people can see us maybe as too much. And I'd imagine if you're listening, you probably have been told over the years that you're too much of this, too emotional, too much of, yeah, all very frustrating and very relatable to all of us, I'm sure. So yeah, we're looking at what that means, and actually whether, rather than taking that as a negative, we can actually really look at the positives of our sort of skills. I hate the word superpower. It gives me the rage. And yet I've just said it. But yeah, talking through maybe some of our experiences of being made to feel too much, and whether we've been able to see the positives of that and recognize how those skills really benefit us, or whether we've used it as another stick to hit ourselves with. So
Okay. Yes. This resonates hard.
I
Resonates
thought it
hard.
might. I thought it might. And it just, so I'll start by saying I was on a call this week, and it was with, I'm not going to name any names, otherwise that could be like my social life crushed. Goodbye, Hannah's too much. Put her in the bin. I had a one-to-one with this woman, and she's a really powerful kind of salesy marketing strategist. She's definitely in our club as
Right.
well, but I'm aware of that. She must be. But she kept saying to me, we were just, in my mind, we were having a one-to-one where we were getting to know each other more. I love all that stuff. You know that I'm not a small talker. I love all that bondy, helping each other stuff. And she kind of went into strategist mode, and she just started saying, "What do you do, Hannah?" And I was like, "Well, and I started to go through the work that I do. And she just kind of kept saying, "What do you do? What do you do? 60 seconds. What do you do? Come on, just say it. Say it quickly. Summarize it, Hannah. You're talking too much. You're over explaining." And I just wanted to say, and I did actually, I said, "It's not too much. This is the way I talk. This is literally the way I talk. I can't summarize what I do with business into a 60-second or a one sentence. And if I could, then I wouldn't be doing much, right, in my day to day." So, and I came away from that. I'm not going to lie. I came away from that feeling too much. I must. My initial thoughts were, I must learn to be more succinct and not explain things so in such an intense way. But then quite quickly, thank goodness, I thought, no, because that is one of my massive strengths, that depth of thought, and the way that I articulate that is a huge, huge strength for me. So yeah, I'm still working on that confidence, because actually I would have liked to have skipped that first kind of feeling too much part, and moved straight on to the kind of justification in my brain.
I've got an issue with the elevator pitch. Just, for one, it's a lift. Just, just get that out of the way. It's a lift pitch. Nobody knows what I'm talking about when I say, "Have you got a lift pitch? Got to get a lift pitch. Got to have a 60-second lift pitch." What is he talking about? Yeah, no. Elevator.
Just
It's a
balls,
lift.
isn't
We're
it?
British. It's not math. It's maths. Take the S off of Legos. Stick it on the end of math. Don't. And the other thing is that you would be in this situation where you had to live or die. I've got 60 seconds to pitch my idea. And who's ever been in that situation? That situation only exists in Hollywood movies. And somebody's gonna put in the comment like, "Oh yeah, but I had to get them dinner." Good for you. Well done. It worked. Brilliant. The need arose at the time you needed it, and you got it sorted. Brilliant. But walking around with this ready-made kind of like, "I do dung, I'm the king." I've tried to summarize it. In my time of like what I do, and I can't. I do what I need to do at the moment that you need me to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely that. And the thing I really struggle with, and I've completely forgotten what it's called from a sort of autism point of view. You'll remember this, I'm sure. When someone's like, "Do it now," I'm like, nope. My brain,
Uh,
I forgot what my name is. I forgot who I am and where what I'm doing. What even am I? The moment I'm like, "You've got one, do it, Hannah, the clock is ticking." Oh yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Everything's gone. I don't even know what I am.
PDA, pathological demand
Yes,
avoidance. Yeah, no,
that is
absolutely.
strong.
There's
That is
nothing
strong.
like giving me an immediate deadline. That's not going to happen. I need you to do this now. Do you? That would be a you problem then. Because me
Just put it
now is
back
not
to
going to be
me.
doing that. No way. Do you know where that is on the to-do list? Yeah, it's right at the bottom.
I
That's in the
think
10-year plan where that is
I think I've
parked.
told you this. I'm sure I've told you this before. If I have, then sorry, listeners, if you're hearing it for the second, third, fourth time. Um, my dissertation for my degree, I left it till 2 weeks before, and everyone was like, "Oh, I'm just binding mine already because I want to be nice and chill about it." And I was like, "Oh, my friends, the magic is happening. It's bubbling up inside me. The volcano's almost there, ready for me to be proactive. I need to feel that heat on the back of my neck. I need to feel my feet slightly burning before I just crank through hyperfocus." I burnt through, you know, bit of self awesomeness here, being a bit full of it. I burnt through my dissertation in 2 weeks. I got a first for it. I didn't get a first overall, but I got a first for the dissertation. It was magnificent. No sleep probably in 2 weeks. A lot of Pro Plus caffeine pills. Don't do this at home if you're listening. Um, but yeah, I needed that. I needed to do that. So if you're just shouting at me in a one-to-one, tell me now. At the end of it, she said, I have no idea what you do. Like I'd wandered in off the streets, like, hi, and just invited myself to this Zoom and then just sat there like, actually, I don't do anything. I'm just here. I'm just imposing on your chat here. I walked away like, oh, who am I? She's destroyed me and removed my soul, and now I just am a nothing. I'm just existing with no purpose. So annoying.
So, so I shifted my mindset a few years ago. So there's four. There are many stages of being self-employed, but there are basically four stages of employment or
Yeah.
the wealth map. There's employed, so somebody pays you money. There's self-employed, you go out and you get money. There's the business owner, you have people that generate money for you, and you discover opportunity for making more money. And
Yeah.
then there's the investor, and they look to take their wealth and invest it in businesses, the
Yeah.
self-employed. And uh, do you think the investors are wandering around saying, having a pitch, oh, I want to give you money and this is how I'm going to give you. And they might have a general idea of, blah, blah, blah. But what they're going around doing is, and I've been there, and this is the shift is, what do you do? What opportunity do you present to me? I'm
Yeah.
interviewing you. You're not interviewing me. You don't need to know what I do. You just need to know that I'm interested in what it is you do. Oh, how that changes the conversation. Well, what do you do? Well, I do a lot of things. I invest in a lot of businesses. Tell me about yours. Suddenly they're like, oh, I'm having that conversation. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're being weighed and measured. That's what you're being done.
Oh, I'm being interviewed,
Yeah, I've
Buster.
just shifted the power dynamic in your head and you haven't got a clue that it's happened. Like a ninja.
Oh,
What I always think about is, when the attack ships in any sci-fi, it's not any
mm,
particular franchise, any sci-fi, they turn up, they just like fucking, they're there. They're just like out of hyperspace, dunk, stop, dead stop. Everyone's mush on the inside, but let's not go into the physics. But they're just like, they blink into existence, like, "Bing." That's what I've just done in your brain. It's just like, oh, is that investor? It's like a dog whistle with money.
that's
But too much. Is that too much to have that at a small businessing network? That's a lot of energy to hold in the room.
it is, and it's not the first time that someone, because the point they're making is I talk too much. Well, do I? Because you know what? Actually, I'm a writer. I do a lot of creative stuff where I need to talk. My talking is, and again, I'm going to use the superpower. Sorry, everybody, but my talking is one of my best parts. And actually, the people that think that I talk too much, it's an in joke. I'm 50 years old. I've had 50 years of it. Or have a quick chat with Hannah. Oh, good luck with that. Well, you know what? Yeah, I'm not a quick chatter. And actually, if you want a quick chat, go and talk about the weather with somebody else because I'm not your girl for that stuff. Um, but if you want, and this is where it works really well, coming back to sort of our business and stuff, I'm intense in the way that I talk. I'm intense in the way that I think. I'm really, really good at looking at small businesses and working out where their problems are, because that intensity is a kind of hyper focus into the detail. I pick up your mood. You know, people, we were saying before we started recording, weren't we? People come to us and not offload, tell us probably the intimacies of their lives that they probably wouldn't tell everybody, because they know that we are a safe place for that, because we pick up on people's feelings, and that is a huge part of who I am, and it's a huge part of why I'm successful in what I do in my day-to-day work. So yeah, don't I've heard it too many times. I know I talk a lot, but it isn't too much. I'm just, you know, I just talk quite a
Well,
bit.
you gave me the perfect response when I was talking about this. We had this discussion about too much, and I said I'm stripping away the quotes on it. I am too much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you said maybe it's because they're not enough. Boom.
Yes.
Boom.
It
You know, they hold
is.
out a half pint glass. Unfortunately, I'm the full pint. Your hands and your shoes are getting wet. Not my problem, I'm a pint, and you've only got half a pint. That'd be a you problem again.
It is. It's a not a mish. It's a mismatch of people. And actually, yeah, I fully appreciate that for some people I'm too much and they're not my people, and that's okay. I don't need to work with those people. I don't need to be friends with those people. And they can find other people that aren't, that match them better.
But
Um,
you see, all of my interactions with you from the get-go, I
mm,
have found it's like the conversation is free-ranging, it's
mm,
dynamic, it's in-depth, and I've said this before. When I'm having conversation with somebody who is definitely one of the gang,
mm.
um, it feels more like a dance than a wrestling match.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I'm with NTs, it feels more like a wrestling match. And it's like one of those wrestling matches where they've got like 20 people in the ring and you're not quite sure who you're fighting and why. And they're coming at you from all angles and it's all different styles and techniques. And you're like, right, that person does it like that. And they say that. And there's this joke between them and the geography in your head. It's like if anyone's ever seen Sunny in Philadelphia,
Ah,
when
yeah.
Charlie goes off on one and he's got the map and it's a meme now. It's a meme and he's got the map and he's drawing the map and the thing like that. And what? Yeah, that's what's going on when I'm sitting there trying to keep up with a multi-part conversation round. Yeah. And at that point, it's like, hang on a minute, hang on a minute. I'm the one who's too much. This is too much. Too
This
much,
chaos.
too many people.
It's so funny. Yesterday, I was in the garden, and one of my neighbours is definitely one of us, and one of my other neighbours isn't. And there was three of us looking around her garden because it just had some work done on it. And then I was talking to the one in our club, and we were just like, like over talking each other, but understanding everything. And at some point, I was aware that the other neighbour that was kind of to the left of us was like a tennis match. She was literally like, chung, 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 what's happening here? And I ended up saying, I'm really sorry to you. This probably just sounds like a lot of noise, but to us, it's working really well. Like we're understanding and flowing, and normal, there's none of that kind of hesitation of like, oh, when do I step in? Oh, that you're doing when you're talking to somebody that doesn't get that flow, like you said, a dance. It's awkward, and yeah, I really struggle. Exactly what you were saying, being at events and kind of not. There's so many people talking, and they're all understanding when you step into a conversation and when you don't, and yeah, chaos, utter chaos.
I do
Um,
like a lull. You know, they call it the predator check. Back when we were on the savannas, we'd be all babbling and talking around the fire, and then that moment, everyone's had this moment, the moment where the conversation just dies, like universally around whatever's happening, it's just like lull. And that's supposed to be when everybody's like agrees, hang on a minute, it's been a bit too long, is there anything creeping up? And they call it predator check, or that's other people might have other
I like.
things that they call it. But what I've noticed is that when the conversation between neurodiverse lulls, it's like a, rather than it being an awkward moment, it's
Mm.
like a regrouping, a breathing. It feels nobody's expecting anyone else to take up the slack at that moment. We are
Yeah.
comfortable in that little silence. That little silence is just like, whew, a little oasis of calm, you know.
Washing over you, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You can go, all right. Oh God, the chatter has stopped. Yeah. And being comfortable in that silence, I think, is the key to it. Quite a lot of
Yeah.
the time, when I'm working with a client, I will leave a very uncomfortable pause after I've asked a question. 'Cause two reasons. One, if they're anything like me, if you've asked me a searching, open-ended, deep question, it deserves the respect of giving a full and uh, thought through response rather than just the glib kind of off the off the cuff response. And that requires silence. It requires a moment for the other person to go, let me think about that.
Yeah.
Neurotypical, neurodiverse, doesn't matter. Everybody needs that moment where they're like, oh, right, I hadn't considered that, or that's
Processing.
interesting. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought of that. And if you're, that when you go to it's the moment you go to the doctor and the doctor says, so why are you here? If he then followed it up with, oh, because, it's been hell for me today and blah, 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 it's like, oh, okay, I'll just sit here then, it's all right.
That's all about you, Doc. Yeah.
But if somebody says, why are you here today? How can I help?
Mm.
Sit back. There you go.
Yeah.
And I quite like that conversation because it allows the other person to explain a lot. But a lot of the stuff in my head is contextual, and I have to
Mm.
explain, oh, this is how I've reached this conclusion because 90% of the time I'll say something and somebody will go, blah, 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 blah. No, no, no. You haven't considered X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I've run several scenarios already in my head. Or you give me a new data point. Hang on a minute. You didn't tell me that particular thing was important.
Yes.
We're now discovering that solution, you're correct, but I didn't know that. So I was solving for X and you've just added Y.
Caused chaos.
And this is the point, I think,
Mm.
for me, the too much thing, to bring it back to that, is
Mm.
that there's too much going on in my brain at any one stage. What are you thinking? Oh,
Do you want to know, really?
can I start?
Download.
How long you got, and that's why I do like having conversations
Yeah.
with yourself, definitely, and which has spawned what we do now. The too much, do you have any strategies, over the years? You've heard it, I've heard it. How do you cope with it now? Is it informed by what you've had?
Yeah.
Examples?
Sorry.
No, 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 just say it. Examples,
Yeah. So I definitely earlier on in in life, in my career as well, I felt like it was a kind of thing that shut me down. Oh, I'm too much again. Shrink back, Hannah, shrink back. Stop showing the too much. And I really struggled with that, and that really ate away at my self-esteem, and it stopped me kind of, for a while, stopped me. I worked in sales a lot when I was at the beginning after I left uni and things, and it was an environment where you needed to stand up for yourself and shout out ideas, and but then I would be shut back in my box, and I would allow that to happen, which is sad, but I've evolved from that. I think strategy wise, so another part of too much from my experience has been that kind of intense emotional side of me that a lot of us have, a lot of neurodiverse people have. Um, so I suppose for me, it depends what that too much criticism, and I do see it as a criticism, unfortunately. I don't feel it and let it hurt me. But people are saying you're too much. They're not saying like, wow, you're too much. Keep going with your too much, are they? They're saying,
No.
bloody, you talk a lot, shut up. Um, when it comes to my talking and too much, I'm not defensive about that. I'm like, I like it. That's who I am. Get over it. I think for me, with the intense emotions and that being highlighted as too much, I think in business, and I'd imagine you probably feel similarly, but in business, my intense emotion means I work a lot with small businesses, and that ability to feel things so deeply means I really, really give a shit about the work I'm doing for you. So actually, I think probably in answer to your kind of strategies and stuff, I think I flip that too much into a really positive thing. I care a lot. Is it too much? No, I don't believe it is. But actually, the fact I care so much is a real wow factor bonus if you work with me or in the work that I do. Not if you work with me, in the work that I do, that intensity is vital. And then you're the same. I see how much you care about the stuff that you do. We're not just churning out work and being like, next, we're like, wow, I really want to fix this for that person. I really want to help this person, and that can be seen in the work world, that can be seen as a negative. I got told the other day that, oh, why are you working with small business? They're a bloodbath. I said, because that's where I can make the change and I really care about that stuff. I don't know if you've heard the same or similar maybe.
I've done quite a few. I've had a few versions of my business and
Yeah,
my businesses over the years, and the one where I tried to scale it and listened to you need the medium size and bigger businesses, you need the
yeah,
tenders and all the rest of it. That definitely nearly broke me.
yeah,
That took me to a knee. In fact, in a way, that particular iteration of the business, which came off of the back of skirting bankruptcy,
yeah,
that version of the business was a reaction to that. It was like, I need to work harder. I need to work like 16-hour days, common. I'd get up, get to the gym, be working in the gym, in my head. That's
yeah,
still work.
yeah,
Then you get into the office 2 hours before everybody. You've done
yeah,
a full day's work, really, by the time anybody sat down on a chair. And then you think, I've got 8 hours of these guys, so I need to really kind of maximize that. And then
yeah,
after they've finished, is right, I've got to set up for tomorrow, because I can't just come in and hit the ground running. I need to know what I'm doing, because you've got all your own processes going on. It's not just the work, it's the process. For me, I keep saying this to people, you don't understand, it's not the outcome, it's the journey. For me, I need
yeah,
to know
yeah,
what the journey is, so that I know that the outcome that we've got to is the correct outcome. It's like I need to work it all out longhand, otherwise, for me, it and that reflects itself in everything you do. You can't, that too much. Yes, I'm too much in everything I do, because in here, it's just, it's too much. It's like a fire hydrant of ideas,
yeah,
and you've got to kind of take a cup to it and scoop it out, and then analyze what's in the cup. You can't do anything with the fire hydrant whilst you're doing this. It's still coming at you. So you've kind of got an umbrella and a cup against a fire hydrant. Terrible analogy, Stuart. I'm
I
doing it on
like
the
it.
fly.
I
See, it's too
like
much. Umbrella. And that also reflects itself when you are talking, because you've got all these ideas, you're making all these connections, you're having these thoughts, and again, it might be the flip answer, I'm sorry I'm too much. I'm not sorry I'm too much. You're not
yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah.
Keep up. Is Usain Bolt too much for other runners? Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Because he wakes up and all he
100%.
thinks about is going quicker. That's it. That's all Usain Bolt. That's his entire life. How do I go quicker?
Mm.
And that's brilliant and that's fantastic. But nobody's saying to Usain Bolt, whoa, 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 whoa,
Slow
whoa, come.
down.
Ooh. So it's the too much is, you're too different. Change
Yeah,
the word much to
with the
different.
line.
You're too
Yeah.
different. I can't cope with that difference. And for whatever reason, I'm going to tell you in negative ways. And the way
Mm.
I assume is now, well, I'm really sorry that, you know,
You're not my people.
you're
Yeah.
not my people. That's, and not everybody can. Somebody said this to me, a friend the other day, he said, he goes around expecting everyone to like him. He said, in what world does he live? He expects everyone to like him. And I was like, that's quite a good
Quite a
mind.
quest.
It is quite a quest. Everybody must like me. I
I
decree
want you all.
everyone shall like me. Oh, shall
What's
they?
wrong with
But that if and going around with the converse, and no one likes me. And it was like, well, they like in Buddhism, you live between the extremes. Unfortunately, the type of brain we have is all or nothing. So if somebody
Yeah,
says you're too much, you think, oh my God, everyone thinks I'm too much. No, sample set of one person in front of you thought you were too much. Well,
yeah,
can't do anything about that. I'm not
yeah.
changing me because
It's
of
not a
you.
majority.
What about if you're not enough? Why don't you become more like me? What
Yeah,
are the parameters
keep
around
up,
this that
single
you're
person.
saying too much? Define the bit that's the too much.
It's society, right? That's telling us we're too much. And I was really interested in what you said about, well, not although it was sad, and I get that, but what you said about kind of that pressure, or alluded to that pressure that society is saying that we need to, in our business, actually, the ultimate goal is to be really rich and work with really big companies, and but actually I've delayed, you know this, I've told you so many times, but I've delayed the launch of my website since I pivoted my work into more of a kind of growth strategist, mentory kind of role for business. I've delayed it. The reason I've delayed it is because I stupidly had a load of chats with a load of neurotypicals that were like, you need to sell workshops for £3,000. You need to go to these companies that have got a turnover of 3 million. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel right. And then I speak to a load of neurodiverse that are like, yeah, just work with small businesses, make the difference, make your soul feel good. And that's where I'm at. And actually I've turned that corner, and I now know I'm picking that route, even though the people that told me that small business were a bloodbath and all this kind of negativity, because actually I don't follow the idea that I need to be rich, and actually I'd like to be famous. I don't follow the idea that I need to be a billionaire. I'm like you. If I scale up to that point, it will break me. Not because it takes more effort, but because that's not my market. Those are not my people. So it's hard, but it's so rewarding when you get there and realize. And it took me too long. No, not too long. I'm not going to use the word too anymore. It took me the time it took me, but I now know where I'm at and where I fit in, from a business point of view. But that too much is determined by society, right? Oh, she talks too much, she cares too much, she's not earning enough. It's all this kind of pressure, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I again, it's so I heard a saying the other day and it made me laugh, and then it made me think, as all of this does. That it was this: don't be stupid. And the other character responded, but what if stupid's all you've got? Made me laugh. Right? Change that word stupid to different.
Yeah.
Don't be different. What if different's all you've got? That's all I've got. That's all I've got. I am different. So yeah, that's all you're gonna get. Eh.
This is the best I can bring you.
Yeah. If this is too much, then I flag it early. I flag it high. I'm waving it like a beacon, fireworks, and you're still coming towards it. That's on you. If you're standing there watching the spectacle, yeah, you're as involved in it. Don't you lie. You love it. Um,
That is, I was at a networking thing a while ago, and there was a guy there that was actually not dissimilar to you in the kind of bright suit and, magnificent, magnificent. And I was chatting to somebody else, and they kept looking over at this guy, and I said, "Oh, he's great. You should have a chat with him. He's fascinating." I won't give any details because I don't want to out him in this podcast. And they said, "Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Because he's trying too hard." And I said, "What does that even mean?" And they said, "Well, look at him. And I said, "But that's what he likes to wear." And they were kind of, "Well, yeah, but he's trying too hard." No, he isn't. That is him. He's not trying at all. That is literally that person. And I just thought, what the heck? And actually, if they'd met him, he's actually quite quiet and kind of but really smart and fascinating. I hope I haven't outed him now, but you know, I just felt I just thought, I really, and I said to this person, I really hope that if you do talk to him, you don't make him feel the way that you've just said, because he isn't trying too hard. He's literally just brought himself to an event. And he's getting judgment, and it's horrible because it buys into that too much, We're trying too hard. The British don't like it. He's too shiny. What is he? What even is that?
Yeah, just put on your sunglasses. Shut up. No, I get it. I do understand how for other people who have different sensibilities, but it's usually, like you say, it's a societal norm that somebody is saying, oh, you don't fit that norm. It's like, yeah, that's because that norm was set up for the average brain or the average person, which, guess what, would be the average brain. And I don't have one of them. So what have I got to do? Or what? Right. So I'm a zebra in a field full of horses. I've got hide my stripes, have I? Fuck you. Not going to happen. Not anymore. No, I'm not walking around wearing a brown overcoat just because other people want me to. You don't want to see this, turn the other way. Walk away. Easy peasy. Job done. Or I will. If you say anything
One of
negative,
us will
it's not a battle. It's a dance.
It's so true. I remember in the
Tips or tricks, anything that you think, that can allow you to get through, whether it's a mindset thing or anything else.
it is a mindset thing, and I think you've kind of nailed it, and I'm working on it. It's not feeling like you've got to be this, you are absolutely, sorry, at the risk of sounding like some kind of Clinton's card, you are enough exactly as you are. You are not, yes, if you go around abusing people and punching people in the face, that's not okay. If you just go around being your best self, if that involves wearing, giant crazy earrings, like, oh, you can't see them on the screen, because you're listening, oops, on this podcast. I do have giant earrings, a bit like a modern day Pat Butcher, which are fabulous.
Yes.
So if you go, I think, sorry, tips. I think it's accepting and welcoming your best self, and not buying into the idea that you've got to toe some kind of societal line. Just be kind, be appropriate, but we all are that, right? But yeah.
Absolutely. Well, listen, on that bombshell, I don't think we're going to change people's attitudes in
No.
this podcast, but I do think that people need to chill out about the fact that if somebody is a little too much, a little ultra, a little over the top, it's a little spice of life. Just roll with it. They're not harming anyone. As long as they're not punching you in there. There are worse, egregious. Move on, move along. So my homework this week is you're not too much. Take the quotes off. Enjoy it. They're not enough. Hannah Logan, this has been fantastic. Thank you very much for the topic, and we'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, press all the buttons, do all the socials, and we'll see you out there.
Take care.
Bye.